Irina Sendler, born Irina Krzyżanowska on February 15, 1910, in Otwock, a small town near Warsaw, Poland, grew up in an environment shaped by compassion and moral strength. Her father, Dr. Stanislaw Krzyżanowski, was a physician who treated poor Jewish patients for free, even when others refused to help them. Tragically, he died of typhus when Irina was only 7 years old, after contracting the disease from one of his patients. His death deeply impacted her, instilling in her a lifelong belief that helping others, regardless of religion or race, was a duty rather than a choice. After his passing, the Jewish community expressed their gratitude by financially supporting Irina's education, a kindness she never forgot. She later attended the University of Warsaw, where she studied social work and became active in defending the rights of Jewish students who faced discrimination under Poland's increasingly anti-Semitic environment. When Nazi Germany invaded Poland in 1939, Irina was working as a social worker in Warsaw. The occupation brought devastating restrictions on the Jewish population, culminating in the establishment of the Warsaw Ghetto in 1940, where more than 400,000 Jews were crammed into less than 2 square miles of land. Horrified by the suffering she witnessed, Irina joined the underground resistance and became an early member of Zgoda, the Council for Aid to Jews, a secret organization within the Polish resistance movement. Her work in the Warsaw Social Welfare Department gave her special permission to enter the ghetto under the pretext of inspecting sanitary conditions. This access allowed her to smuggle in food, clothing, and medicine to those trapped inside, but soon, her mission evolved into something far more dangerous and heroic, saving Jewish children from certain death.
Irina Sendler and her network of allies devised an elaborate system to rescue Jewish children from the ghetto. They used every possible means to smuggle them out, through secret tunnels, under tram seats, in toolboxes, coffins, and even inside ambulances marked for disease control. Once the children were outside, they were given new Polish identities, and placed with Catholic families, orphanages, or convents where they would be safe. Sendler meticulously recorded each child's real name, their parents' names, and their new identities on small scraps of paper, which she placed in glass jars, and buried beneath a tree in a friend's garden. Her hope was that after the war, these children could be reunited with their families, though tragically, most of their parents did not survive the Holocaust. Through her efforts, it is estimated that Irina Sendler helped save approximately 2,500 Jewish children, an extraordinary act of courage that put her own life at constant risk.
In October 1943, Irina's clandestine activities were discovered by the Gestapo. She was arrested, brutally tortured, and sentenced to death. Despite enduring horrific beatings and the breaking of her legs and feet, Irina refused to reveal any information about the children, their families, or her fellow resistance members. She was imprisoned in Warsaw's infamous Pajak prison, where she awaited execution. However, members of Zgoda managed to bribe a German guard, securing her release just hours before her scheduled execution. Official Nazi records listed her as having been executed, forcing her to live in hiding for the remainder of the war. Even while recovering from her injuries, she continued to assist the resistance movement, working tirelessly under false identities to ensure the safety of the children she had rescued. After the war, Irina Sendler returned to her profession as a social worker, continuing to assist war orphans and impoverished families in rebuilding their lives. She tried to reconnect the rescued children with any surviving relatives, but in most cases, the parents had perished in concentration camps. During Poland's communist era, Irina's wartime heroism was largely forgotten or suppressed, as the government discouraged the recognition of individuals associated with underground resistance movements that had Western ties. It was not until the late 1990s that her story began to gain international attention, largely thanks to a group of American high school students from Kansas who wrote a play titled Life in a Jar based on her life. The play's success sparked global recognition of Irina's courage and compassion, bringing her numerous awards and honors, including being named one of the righteous among the nations by Yad Vashem in 1965. Irina Sendler lived quietly in Warsaw for the rest of her life, remaining humble about her deeds. She always insisted that she was not a hero, saying, "I was brought up to believe that you must help a person drowning, regardless of religion or nationality." In her later years, she became a symbol of moral bravery and humanitarianism, receiving the Order of the White Eagle, Poland's highest civilian honor, and nominations for the Nobel Peace Prize. Irina passed away on May 12, 2008, at the age of 98. By the time of her death, the world had come to know her as the female Oskar Schindler, though she herself rejected such comparisons. Her legacy continues to inspire people around the world to act with compassion, courage, and integrity, a reminder that even in the darkest times, one person's moral conviction can illuminate hope for thousands.